I always feel the pressure to find the perfect gift for my relatives. In this case, whether you're sending an unforgettable gift or treating yourself to everyday perfection, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. For me, I'm not just into steaks. I like all types of meat. That's why I'll usually get the Winter's Best Seller Pack. It comes with juicy fillets, chicken breast, pork chops, and even burgers. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. A family-owned company with over 100 years of experience in the meat industry. Save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and earn an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code YUM at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code YUM at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide plus an extra 20% off select favorites and more limited-time deals during their cyber sale. And use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. A big thanks to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.
This is a podcast from Minute Media.
Hello, kitties. This is yours truly, the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Slasher Radio.
Hey, Hannah.
Hello.
Am I working? Hey, Hannah, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Is Reece going to be joining us, or is it just me and you?
He is, yeah. I was talking to him a minute ago. He should be on his way.
How's your day going?
Not too bad. It's nearly over now.
Yeah, it sure is, isn't it?
Yeah. I just got back from California on Monday, so I'm still a bit like brain scrambled.
Yeah, your head's like, well, when do I sleep now?
Yes.
Nice. I've never been to California myself. Hey, Reece, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you both?
Good. I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. My two co-hosts, the timing of this, it all happened so fast, and it's just going to be, you guys are stuck with me, pretty much.
No, it'll be a pleasure.
No, the pleasure's mine. I appreciate you guys hopping on. We can get right into it. I know it's late for you, so I don't want to take up too much of your night.
I'm happy to chat for as long as you want us, Mike.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so I'm here with, I had to double check and make sure the Zoom call was recording. That was a mistake I have not yet made, but I feel like one day it's coming. I'm here with Reece and Hannah from the University of Warwick. Guys, can you do me a favor and just tell me and everybody else what exactly you guys do, just generally?
I don't know who wants to go first.
After you, Hannah.
Well, I'm a bit of an anomaly, really, in this conference because I'm actually a historian of the 17th century.
Wow.
But I'm a historian of scandal and celebrity. So I got very interested in horror films because what I do is essentially look at the history of when people go too far and the social reaction to that. So that obviously fits quite nicely with the history of horror in general.
It does. Reece, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm anomaly as well, and I come from French studies. But my area was horror cinema. I've researched French horror cinema, and I've done a ton of stuff on American horror as well. And really sort of carving out myself as a horror person.
That is an amazing thing. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Terrifier, the Terrifier Conference you guys have going on. But I'm very interested now. So what are some of your, because I didn't know you guys were just, because you'd be surprised with the actors that we talk to from horror movies that are like, no, I'm not really a fan of horror. You guys, wasn't expecting like such in depth. This is very fun for me. What are some of your go-to horror movies in general, or even just like a subgenre or something like that?
Oh, there's so many. You can't see me right now, but I'm sitting in front of a bust of Frankenstein's monster.
Okay.
So I always loved the Universal monsters, and anything with Vincent Price in. I think Vincent Price does not get enough credit as maybe the best horror actor ever. So I will watch pretty much anything with him in. But Theatre of Blood, I think, is one of my favorites.
Love Theatre
Very
of Blood.
melodramatic.
I'm saying I'm Vincent Price, and Hannah. Can I tell them about what you made for me, Hannah? Well, I've said it now, so you try. Hannah made a Vincent Price for me, as a sort of a
Vincent
finishing.
Price.
Yeah, he's good. He's what? He's about a foot tall, Hannah.
Yeah,
Oh my
something
God.
like that.
Yeah, he's excellent.
He's got his little coffin. He's ready to go.
That is incredible.
She's a master craftsman as well as a scholar.
Yeah, I was going to say, you really are an anomaly. That's incredible. So you could also sculpt things or however you made that. That is so cool to hear. And horror memorabilia in general, like just like going into any type of store or even online on like Etsy's dangerous, things like that. There's just so many things you could do and you can get so creative. And the source material that you're, working off of.
Yeah.
That is amazing to hear. But we are here to talk about Terrifier. There's a Terrifier conference that you guys are hosting. I did a ton of looking for things about this. There's not a tremendous amount out, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about it. I did see a post from, I believe it was Games Radar or I believe so. Terrifier movies are getting an academic conference that will look at the horror franchise as an object of scholar importance. I think this is incredible. How did all this get started?
Shall I lead the way, Hannah? So yes, the conference emerged after the release of Terrifier 3 and sort of the massive success that it was.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the whole conference has been a story of sort of increasing success from the first shorts up to now the third film. And that is something that sort of really caught our eye is how these films came from essentially being sort of completely independent movies to sort of the major horror releases of last year. So we wanted to have a look into that. And the more we thought about it, the more we saw that there were tons of interesting things to say. There's all the discourse surrounding Terrifier about violence and how far is too far, etc. But we saw sort of questions about sort of the final girl figures. We saw things about sort of the fact that Damien Leone really plays with practical effects in a way that lots of horror films don't anymore. And the figure of art is perhaps sort of the horror icon of the past 20 years or so. And so we saw tons to talk about and thought, well, let's invite people to talk about it.
Was there any pushback in this? And I only ask because I don't know. A lot of times anything horror, like there's kind of that little bit of resistance there, especially bringing it to, a stage like this. Was there any pushback like that? Did you receive anything of that sort, or was it just completely welcomed? Let's do it.
I've been quite lucky in that we weren't expecting it to be as big as I think it's become. We were just sort of doing it because we thought it'd be interesting, And academic conferences are usually quite small affairs. But people have really, really been interested in this from the start, which has been great. We did have a bit of trouble about what images are appropriate to put on posters that the whole university gets to see. There was a bit of sort of umming and ahhing about what was too scary to go on the poster. But we've had like remarkable luck so far, I think, with it.
Yeah, the enthusiasm has been incredible, and the uni has been so supportive of this conference as well, which has been really fantastic.
That's incredible to hear. There's so much to talk about here, but you guys mentioned, I believe in Terrifier 2, I truly noticed that there were glimpses of it in the original Terrifier, but in Terrifier 2, even in All Hallows Eve too, it felt like I was watching like the original Nightmare on Elm Street. or something like that, especially in Terrifier 2. And that they were able to capture that glimpse of the true 80s slasher kind of golden age, I guess you could call it. And you don't see that anymore. And there's so many things like just pushing the envelope and things like that. We had David Howard Thornton on recently. The excitement that he had when you bring up things like, speaking of pushback, when, they released the teaser and the trailer for it, and there was that uproar. He was so excited about that. He was like, yeah, we did it. I feel like people get too caught up in that. And I love what you guys are doing because of the art of it. No pun intended, but the kind of true art that goes into making these films and the practical effects and all those things. And you guys seem to be focusing, correct me if I'm wrong, focusing on that more so than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, one of our speakers, our sort of keynote speakers, is specifically going to talk about sort of the special effects aspect of it. And it's something that Reece and I mean, we talk about it a lot, that we both love about Terrifier is all of this effort that goes into the practical effects that, as you say, you just don't see anymore. And it's still really exciting, I think, particularly for horror fans. We love to see it because we know how it works. And, everyone's, sat and watched a documentary about Tom Savini, and we're all watching these things. And, I know how much work went into that. The guy who gets his head stomped in the first one I always think about. We know what goes into that effect, and it makes it really exciting as horror fans, I think, to watch.
You're right there, Hannah. And there's a thing as well, sort of, when you talk about sort of how it captures the feel of these sort of 80s films, I think they're timeless in a way. That sort of the CGI now sort of dates quite horribly. But the practical effects still look as good now as they did, say, 40 years ago in the case of some of these films. There's sort of almost a magical quality to the, having props destroyed or, people's arms actually torn off or stuff like that. The Terrifier now is really one of the only films that is capturing that.
Yeah. And on such a scale, because we talked with David when we had him on about it a lot. Terrifier 2 and 3, especially 2, was this franchise keeps seeming to break boundaries. And what you guys are doing here with this conference is another one. But even just in film alone, they got the Terrifier 2 into theaters.
Yeah.
Unrated, Yeah. And it just kept getting extended. And then they brought it back again. And then Terrifier 3 obviously hit theaters as well. And they're so proud of that. Damien was having tons of money thrown at him. We've seen all the reports, and so many people wanted to get their hands in there. And they said, no, we're not going to tone things down. We're not going to compromise what we do. We believe in what we do, and they kind of stuck it out. And they broke that boundary for theaters and a lot of indie movies and lower budget movies can get in front of more eyes and in front of more fans and grow their base. But now I feel like you guys are taking this to another level, because not only are you saying, okay, we're going to put this in front of as many people as we can and theaters and everything else, but we're going to put this on an academic stage where people can learn from this, and it's 100% right. They can, if you're trying to make movies in general, let alone horror movies, there's so many things that you can learn from this on every single level. What do you think the importance of this is for the horror genre in general?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, Terrifier, the franchise as a whole, is really a triumph for sort of someone sticking to their guns in the face of, I think, a Hollywood system that sort of almost sanitizes horror. In the modern day, sanitizes may not be the right word, but
I get what you mean.
There's a sense that if we're watching a mainstream horror, we sort of know the rules. And then Terrifier is happy to sort of throw those rules out the window and do what it wants. And that's so fresh, in a way. And it's really that triumph of, as you say, sort of independent films. I'm told, I remember, was it when Sean Baker won a bunch of independent film awards for Anora at the start of the year? And then in his speech, he name-checked Terrifier as an example of independent film doing well and sort of succeeding in spite of all the pressures of Hollywood. Obviously, a cinema that was full of Terrifiers might be very, this is an ecosystem there, sort of everything has its place. But Terrifier is succeeding in a way that, in a time where cinema is struggling generally, And it's a major success story, and that's something that is really worth talking about, I think.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will show studios that you can make money off these sorts of things, which is, it's boring, but it's an important part of the cinema making ecosystem, right? Is studios like to know that something can be successful before they'll even let someone have a chance. So hopefully it shows them that this kind of thing, there is an audience for it, and people do love it still as much as they did in, 1986.
Oh, yeah. I don't find it boring at all. You're 100% right, Hannah. It shows that movies can there's so many layers to it, because it shows that A, you can make money off these movies, which is, what they care about a lot. And B, that original ideas can work. We see so many things being rehashed. They just announced the Killer Clowns from Outer Space prequel, or whatever it is, remake, whatever.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, man. Like some things, like I'm not totally against remakes and whatever. Like it obviously a lot of variants depend on a lot of different things, but there's so little original ideas going around now. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Terrifier kind of broke the mold there too. It's like we didn't make, a new It movie or whatever with a killer clown. Like we had our own design, we had our own story, and maybe this can show studios that you can take a chance on new things, and it can work. If you do it right, it can work. And that's the beauty of it.
I would agree with that. Definitely. We're sort of in an age of sort of increasing franchise and the franchiseification of cinema. And, they're being kept afloat by sort of endless rehashes of films we've seen before. I mean, you're right, Mike, that Terrifier is proof that if you do something original and do it embrace what you're doing, there will be people who want to see it. Especially in the horror genre, of course, where fans are sort of more active and vibrant and enthusiastic than I think major genres otherwise.
Yeah, by far. I say it all the time. I mean, no shade to any other genre like comedy, action, whatever. Horror is the most passionate fan base, and it's the most fun to discuss because there's so many different viewpoints. we have a viewer of the show. His name is Greg, and he has wild takes, and we call him like a hot take landmine. Things like Halloween isn't the best in its franchise, and all these things, wild stuff that makes my head hurt. And it's funny to laugh at and have fun with, but there are people like the views, and he's passionate about it. Like he means that shit, And there's people like, I don't feel like there's any other genre that means that shit more than the horror genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I think that's part of what we were so delighted by at the conference is we've had just so many people get in touch, even people who didn't, have an intention of participating, who just wanted to say that they were really excited it was happening, which I can tell you right now doesn't happen at a Stewart history conference. it's definitely the horror fans.
Yeah, and I remember when I first seen it was Damien had tweeted it, and then I looking around was like, is this real? Like, what's going on? And I was just sitting there going, wow, this is incredible. Like you see a lot of things like pop up, the museums and stuff, quote unquote, of, where they pay tribute, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love those. But to put it on the stage that you guys are and saying, hey, we need to learn from this is something that does not get said enough. And from a university like Warwick, I mean, that's where things like this should be. And you guys pushing that envelope is invaluable, I feel. But you guys, I just want to go through a couple of the things that stuck out to me. You guys said that there's going to be readings of characters of Art the Clown and Sienna. What can people expect from this?
Well, we've had quite a few. Sorry, I'm looking at the program as we speak. There's a lot of people interested in art. And some of the pieces that we have someone who's coming from an art college, no pun intended there again, who's analysing sort of the colour scheme of art, the sort of his monochrome identity, because that is such a striking part of the character.
Yeah.
And so that we have people interested in David Howard Thornton's performance, how sort of art is portrayed as funny and scary, and how he's sort of the ultimate killer clown in both senses of the word. And we have people unpicking sort of what art might mean in terms of things like religion, or and we have a paper sort of looking at him as potentially sort of a queer character, neurodivergent characters. So lots of sort of scholarly lenses that people apply to the characters and then the films themselves to sort of see how they might speak to different fan bases, for example.
Yeah, and I think very basically, because Reece and I are so used to going to academic conferences, but I think we're going to get people, which is lovely at this conference, that have maybe never attended an academic conference before and
I'm one
just
of them.
don't know what's happening at all. Yeah. So what happens is we've got lots of people coming to give 20-minute kind of papers, we call them presentations, on all kinds. I mean, we have literally got a bit of everything. We've got all kinds of things that are all in the program. But basically, everyone will speak for sort of 20 minutes, and then we'll have an opportunity for the audience to engage and ask questions. And really what we want to do is encourage people to talk about it. Like you're saying, like, have this space where fans can come together, but also, academics, even people, even if you don't like Terrifier, academia is a great venue for people to come together and discuss something wherever you're coming to that thing from, whatever part of the spectrum you're on. I mean, we've got one of our speakers is, she's in drama, and she's a historian of clowns and of clowning, and she's going to come and talk to us about the history of sort of clowns and violence. So we're trying to bring in all these different kinds of ideas so we can have the broadest debates that we can with everybody, which we're really looking forward to.
The spread we have, Hannah, is sort of very unusual for an academic conference.
Yes.
Again, it's fantastic and speaks to how relevant and interesting Terrifier is to vast swathes of the audience.
Yeah, the talk. I mean, I don't know if it's just me being a nerd, but like these talking points are amazing. I never thought. Obviously, the performance of David with this character is incredible. The design is terrifying. It's scary. Yeah. It's really cool to look at. It just transcends so many different things. But queer identity and all these things, never thought of that. Would love to hear a point about, just goes to what Damien created and the whole team, the whole Terrifier crew created with these characters in this story is you see so much. There's so much blood, guts, and the, long movies and all those things. But you still don't know so many things. And there's so much left open for something like this, for interpretation, that this is kind of the perfect, like you guys picked the perfect movies for this stuff.
I think you do notice different things, I think, every time you watch them as well.
Yeah.
Like I was watching 3 earlier today, sort of prep myself for this. And the first time that I'd only seen it in the theatre before this, like I went to see it on opening night, where you're kind of overwhelmed by all the, the blood and the guts and the gore. And this time I was watching it, noticing like how much he gets on public transport and like funny things, like those kinds of questions that horror movies don't answer. Like, well, how did he get from A to B? Well, he got the train, and these sorts of things that you don't notice maybe the first time you watch it, but then you're watching it again later and it's all these details come out to you, which I think speaks to how much care they put into them and how much thought they put into every aspect of them.
Yeah, you don't really, other than maybe like, I think Leslie Vernon, the Rise of Leslie Vernon is a great film as well. And, honestly too, wouldn't mind seeing something like that done on this level as well, because there's a lot of thought that goes into that, but the intricacies of a killer, you kind of get a peek on that with art. Like they do go in depth and I didn't even notice that, It's true. When you watch it, you're kind of in awe the first time or two. And that's the beauty of a film or franchise like this being put on this level, is because you get to look at all the other stuff. And I feel like I don't like that Terrifier gets that. I mean, they kind of did it to themselves a little bit, where people just think of it and they're like, oh, blood and guts and all that. But it's so much more. It's like so much more than just that on it, what it is on its surface with that stuff. I love the thought of you guys putting that at the forefront and giving other people voices, because like Hannah said, I've never been to a conference like this. So I don't know what to expect at all. So being able to know that there's several speakers and all different viewpoints and everything of this character in these movies and this story that I never thought of, but are super interesting.
That's very, very kind of you to say, Mike. It's worth us saying as well, unusually for conferences as well, we have, so it's not just academics, we have industry people coming too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got promoters. I must give
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.
shout out to Marek Pugh and Johnny Bunning from Signature Entertainment, who have helped us incredibly with the promotion of this. But they're doing a session on the marketing campaigns that they ran for Terrifiers 2 and 3. Things like the famous vomit bags and hyping people walking out of screenings, etc.
Yeah,
which should be fascinating. One paper that I think Hannah and I are both very much looking forward to. We have 2 speakers on the online day from a group called Matchbox Cine, who essentially did the accompanying materials for Terrifier 3 for visually impaired and for deaf audiences. I mean, how they translated the things that were happening for people who couldn't see or hear it. And I'm so intrigued to see what they did. It was such a fascinating...
Yeah. See, things we never think of.
Yeah, exactly.
Were there any other films? Like I said, I truly, truly believe Terrifier is absolutely perfect for a conference like this. Were there any other films that you kicked around doing this for? Are there maybe obviously this is going very well. Is this something you guys are going to look to continue to do with other films and other franchises?
After you, Hannah.
We've been thinking about it now, haven't we? Because we weren't expecting this. We're like, we'll have to do another one.
Yes. I suppose the thing is, we've sort of tapped into a moment in that Terrifier is, it is brilliant, but it is also sort of the hot film of the moment. So if there are other films that appear that speak to sort of the culture in the way that the Terrifiers have, it would be a shame if it wasn't, that they weren't looked at. We have had some requests on some of the Terrifier Instagrams for people from people to do things like Saw and etc. So never say never. I mean, based on the enthusiasm that we've received here, I think it'd be a shame for us not to do something else, Anna.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do Leslie Vernon for you, Mike. Maybe that'll be...
I'm there for it, man. And that's the thing. Horror fans always show up.
Yeah.
For anything to do with the genre, they will show up. And it's awesome for the university as well, because I didn't know any of these things existed that you guys, normally outside of Terrifier and all these films. So it does open up the eyes, especially, people like me who just had no idea, where it's like, oh, they do these like just constantly. This is awesome, and I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand, is it horror fans that are just going to show up because it's Terrifier? Absolutely. But I feel like if they're viewing it through the correct lens, they should appreciate what you guys do in general and kind of just use this as that first door to open to the whole world that you guys have going on over there.
Definitely. It's incumbent on us as scholars to make our work relevant and resonate with wider people. You might produce the most interesting thing ever, but if no one sees it and hears about it, who's it for?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. And that's kind of with anything, you could be doing the greatest thing ever made, but getting it in front of people and getting people to give it a chance is the hardest part. Is there, you said there were other people notable from, is anyone from the actual Terrifier crew going to be there? Are they involved at all? I know Damien's been super excited. He's been talking about it on Twitter left and right.
I don't want to give away all the tricks, all the surprises.
Oh, okay, yeah, don't do that. No, yeah.
But we're hoping that there may be a few surprises for people who come along.
Nice. Unfortunately, I'm all the way over here, so I'm hoping that the stream gets some of those surprises as well, because I'm going to be there. Oh, the other thing I wanted to discuss as well you guys, I seen listed that you're going to be discussing their Ice Nine Kills, a work of art.
Yes.
What can people expect from that? Because that collaboration was absolutely incredible.
This was important for us as well to sort of look at Terrifier sort of beyond the films. You mentioned the music video. Of course, there's the games that are coming as well.
Right.
Art appearing in a Call of Duty already, and then the arcade game that is on its way. And really, when you talk about say a work of art, again, no pun intended. I'm sorry, this is going to happen a lot over these 2 days. There's a fair warning for everyone who comes. Warning in advance. Yes, sort of. It's proof that Terrifier is sort of pervading into popular culture as well. Yeah. And it might be the case that someone who watches the Ice Nine Kills video, that might be the first time that they encounter Art the Clown, which again is a fascinating thing to think about. Or, the people playing Call of Duty who suddenly come across this clown, that might be their first experience. So we want to dig into sort of what these things say about the character, what they say about the world of the films, but also in their own right. If someone is just engaging with Terrifier that way, what does the franchise mean to them?
Yeah. And it's weird for us, because we know Art the Clown very well from these movies and love them so much. But no, it's 100% true. A friend of mine was playing Call of Duty and he was playing the Art the Clown skin. And he was telling me that there was someone in some lobby he was playing with or whatever, some random person who had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
I talk to people all the time who haven't seen it when I'm explaining the conference to mainly historians who are not super into the extreme horror genre, by and large. Some of us are, but people all the time will go, I don't know what that is. And then you show them a GIF of Art and they go, oh yeah, him. Yeah. I know loads of people who know him solely through memes, because he's become a meme in and of himself, which is fascinating when you think about it. It's a bit when I was a kid, I was very familiar with Chucky as a character. I had never seen any of the movies, but I knew who Chucky was, and I knew he was a killer doll, and I knew what he looked like. And so they gained this kind of cultural significance that I think Art has gained by now, of this kind of omnipresence that extends way beyond the movies themselves.
Yeah. And probably within the horror genre, obviously, probably the only character, I was going to say villain, but probably just character in general since Ghostface with the Scream franchise he's the biggest since then. And when we had David, because there's been a lot of talk about the next Terrifier movie being the last one, and Damien's been pretty vocal on that, and his story is what his story is, and that makes 100% sense. But we did mention that to David and Art the Clown. How do you just kill that character off and we don't see him anymore? He has outgrown the movie, which is wild to think of, especially only 3 movies in, technically. David was very, I want to say vocal, but maybe optimistic. I don't know. But, that we will see Art the Clown in some capacity after the Terrifier films. That's a very important point. And I was so happy to see that listed on your program that, outside, because Terrifier is great. We love Terrifier, but Art the Clown has to live on if there's only going to be one more movie. And that needs to be talked about.
Well, you're quite right. We have one of the speakers is talking about Art as a sort of a TikTok star, which is sort of, I admit to not being on TikTok and thus not really having seen this, but again, it's a fascinating way to think about it. That he's taken on this life outside of the films, in a way that, as you say, sort of few horror characters really have this century. And it's interesting, he is a very memeable character. Part of the performance of him being such a fun character as well as a scary one. I've seen the image of from the second film of him trying on all the glasses and playing with the sort of the party thing. I've seen that deployed for sort of just general comedy on other chats. And it's fascinating to think that they're not showing the screens of him sort of tearing people apart. They're finding this character in a fun sense as well. And it's fascinating to see how he evolves and how sort of people are framing him almost independent of Terrifier, as well as within relation to the films.
Yeah, and it's crazy how they created such a versatile character, and he doesn't even talk.
Mm.
You could see how Freddy kind of turned into what he did and crossed that border into entertainment from horror. Art doesn't even talk, and he still has so much character in him.
Mm.
Don't get me started on David. He brought that character to life.
Yeah. And that's why we were really keen to have one of ours. So we have like two keynote speeches, which are like longer than the others. So they're sort of our main speakers who would both do like 45 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's why we were so keen to have someone who was doing the history of clowning, because I think a big part of his personality and why he's so attractive to people is this character of the clown. And that we all kind of recognize clowns and we understand clowns, which then in some ways makes it really hard to make a new interesting clown, which is one of the fascinating things about Terrifier. You know, if you said before it was made, if you'd gone, I'm going to make a killer clown movie, people would have said, well, you can't make anything new with a killer clown.
Right.
But then they did that so well. But also it's a frame of reference that we recognize as a society. And we kind of understand how clowns work and what's going on. So it allows people to kind of relate to it as well, which I think is part of his huge popularity, is this kind of idea of the clown. And David Howard Thornton does that so well, with really leaning into that almost like classical mime kind of acting, which is so amazing.
I agree with you. It's just the sort of part of the appeal, though, is that he is genuinely really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's hilarious. Yeah, he is absolutely hysterical. Yeah. And then it comes through without speaking, which is fucking wild. No, Hannah, that's a great talking point as well. The clowning in general, it's such a, not to use the word again, but it's such a general thing. Like clowns, everyone is aware. We're all aware of what a clown is. And even in horror movie terms, you know, we've seen Pennywise, both iterations of him, and there's so many other killer clown movies that it's, you know, kind of done to death. And what can you do differently with the clown that we don't know and recognize, and we're going to find new and exciting, and they were able to do it. And hearing talk on that is great as well, because that's like, again, maybe it's me being a nerd, I don't know, but like that's super interesting to me, all the different angles that you can attack that from.
And I mean, clowns are one of the oldest forms of entertainment, you know?
Right.
In Roman theatres, in Greek theatres, they had clowns, essentially. So it's like one of the oldest forms of human theatre and entertainment. And we still find them really interesting. Even now, we're still going to watch them, and we're still sort of enchanted by them, which I find like quite wonderful.
Yeah. Guys, I am so excited for this conference. I appreciate you hopping on with me to discuss this. Let everybody know the dates. I had them in front of me. I don't know where they but let everybody know everything that they need to know to be able to, because signing up for this is free, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody loves free. And there's an online, you guys are located in the UK.
Yes.
I am not, and I am still signed up. There is an online, there's 2 separate days for online and in person, correct?
Yes, that's right. So it is Friday, 2nd of May is online. And then Saturday, 3rd of May is the in-person day at Warwick.
And what can, because I mean, our listener base is predominantly in the US. So what are the differences between the 2 dates, just so everyone knows what to expect?
So the 2 keynote speakers that Hannah mentioned will be on the in-person day. We've split the special sessions between the 2 days, so sort of no one is massively missing out if they can only do one. They'll still get a fair sort of sense of the show.
Right.
The major thing that if people are online they'll miss is that we're going to do a screening of one of the films on Saturday.
Yeah.
And that anyone who registers can vote for what that film will be. There's currently 2 films emerging as the front runners.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could divulge that information, but I voted for Terrifier 2. I'm going to put my vote out there now. And it's a hard choice.
Yeah. Currently, the front runners, interestingly, it's Terrifier 3 and All Hallows Eve are the two sort of leading the pack.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All Hallows Eve super underrated. Just for the record, like I like that movie a lot. So I'm glad it's getting some love in there. That is awesome.
Yeah, I love an anthology as well. I feel like we should bring anthologies back in a big way. That's my own soapbox moment.
Are you doing a hot take, Hannah? Is this?
I am doing a hot take. I want to bring back the sort of Hammer horror style anthology movie.
It's not a hot take to me. I agree. I am a huge Tales from the Crypt fan.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, like I don't know what HBO is doing, but we're bringing back all this crap that nobody wants. Bring back Tales from the Crypt, man. That is a perfect anthology series.
Yeah, I mean, Reece and I are big Inside Number 9 fans.
Okay.
Yes.
Which I think is, perfect anthology television. It's not all horror. About half of it's horror, but we're big advocates for the anthology genre.
Yeah. Again, if anything done right, you can, in anthologies, I mean, you can literally do anything. You have a whole canvas and different canvases to do all kinds of stuff. I love anthologies as well. But let everybody know where they can go and sign up for this too, by the way, the websites or anywhere else that they can get in there, because I cannot stress how important this is for the genre and what you guys are doing. Like, it's mind blowing. And I hope this is something that catches on. I would love for, here in the States, if a university would do something like this or anything, like I would go in a heartbeat.
Reece, you're the official announcements guy.
Oh, the pressure is on there, Hannah. Yes, if you Google Terrifier 2025 conference, the top result is a link to a page on the Warwick website, and you can register there. You have an option of registering for the online or the in-person date or both. If you register for either, I say about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the conference, we're going to share recordings of all the sessions. So even, if you're interested at all, it's worth signing up just to have access to the materials. And of course, to cast your vote for the film as well. And I echo your point, Mike, in that I hope this kind of activity does spread. And, we would be happy to share our guidance and support if any other academics or non-academics were looking to run horror conference events like this. We would be happy to share our knowledge, because we want this to be something that is mainstream. We want people to be talking about the genre and bringing in not just the sort of the closed doors of academia, making it for everyone.
Absolutely. 100%. And I feel like, I don't know how it hasn't been. I mean, I'm sure it's been done at some point, like on some level, like I'm sure, but to take such a, I guess the best word for it is a ballsy film, and do it on the level that you guys are doing. Like, I haven't seen it done on this level before. And I hope that more, I guess, larger outlets would want to do something like this, because this is the level it should be on, especially movies like this, 100%. And you guys deserve all the credit for taking that first step. Because let's be honest, too, there is a world where this could have just, nobody could have gave a shit. Like it could have very well, you take a movie like this and take it kind of out of its comfort zone a little bit. You never know what could happen. And you guys took that risk. And I'm glad you did.
Yeah, we weren't sure when we put out like a call for papers, but first to get people to come and present. And we did that, and we thought, if no one answers, we'll just sort of skulk off, back to our offices, and it'll be fine. We'll just pretend it didn't happen. But we had this amazing response, which I think exceeded expectations entirely.
Really, everyone has been exceeding expectations all the way.
Yeah.
And sign-ups now, we've passed 400 now, which for an academic conference is sort of absurd.
It really is.
It's really a testament to the community, who have been really supportive every step of the way.
Yeah, that is a lot of people. Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's not like, some like AMC, like a big movie theater saying, hey, we're putting Terrifier back. That'll sell out across the country, like the world. No shit. It's a horror movie in a movie theater. You guys took it out of its comfort zone, and it's still seeing this response, which is great for the like that. That's the thing. It's not even just for Terrifier. Like, I feel like this speaks for the genre in such a bigger way. And that's what I think is the most important out of it.
I mean, like you were saying at the beginning of the conversation, Mike, people will always go watch a screening. But
Sure.
After the screening, I think most people's favorite part is after the screening when everyone stands around and talks about it, right? That's the bit that we all really love. And this is sort of 2 days of us getting to stand around and talk about Terrifier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that you're 100% right. Like, there's so many more movies that I've gone to see than not, where I cannot wait to talk to certain people about it. You know, like, yeah, I seen the movie. All right, great. I seen it. But now I got to talk about it. That's the important part. Yeah, that's awesome. Also, on all of our social medias, you can easily find it in the description for wherever this is going to go. It'll be in there. So it will not be hard to find the link if you are listening to this. And I strongly urge everybody to check this out. And that was the other thing I wanted to hit. And you mentioned it, Reece, that this will be after the fact. If for some reason people are dumb enough to not experience this, it will be posted after the fact. Yes.
It's about, because if we just do it once and, we'll lose all of the brilliant conversations that will come out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many, we've got sort of 10, 12 sessions. Full of the fascinating stuff that we've been discussing. We want that to be available. And we think we sort of owe it to the community that have invested so much in the conference to make this available to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And let other platforms and universities and everything else see, for themselves, the response and the passion, because I'm sure everyone there is super passionate about this. So yeah, it should live on. And I'm glad you guys are doing that. But guys, let everyone know too where they can, if you want to let people know where they can get in touch with you. I'm not a big fan of people getting in touch with me, so I understand if you don't. But let everybody know everywhere they can get in touch with you guys, the event, everything.
I'm rubbish. We're meant to do social media as academics, but I don't really. I don't. Reece, do you? Smart.
Very smart.
I mean, I do. If you want, you can get me on X and Instagram at ReeceGoodall496. And yeah, if you Google me, you can find my institutional email and all of that sort of stuff. I'm always happy to have a chat and answer any questions.
Yeah, if anyone has a deep desire to talk to me, they can email me. Like it's the 80s. I do accept email.
Do you accept facts as well?
Yeah. Well, I'm a 17th century historian, so you've really got to keep it.
Yeah, send a carrier pigeon to Hannah.
Guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Maybe I'll reach out after the event and, all that stuff. Maybe we can do it again and just kind of highlight it when you can talk about everything, and we can kind of just talk about how awesome it's going to go, because I'm sure it will.
Oh, thank you. It'd be our pleasure, Mike. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us on. Yeah.
100% my pleasure. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
All the best of Slasher Radio Podcast.
All right, remember, the machine knows if you're lying. First statement, Carvana will give you a real offer on your car all online.
False.
True, actually. You can sell your car in minutes.
False? That's gotta be...
True again. Carvana will pick up your car from your door, or you can drop it off at one of their car vending machines.
Sounds too good to be true, so true.
Finally caught on. Nice job. Honesty isn't just their policy, it's their entire model. Sell your car today, too.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.